What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video we are playing with your favorite brand, juviasplace. Today is January 15th, which marks my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and because my very first video was a tutorial starring juviasplace, there was no doubt in my mind what I was going to do for my 1-year anniversary video. And with this being the absolute newest collection from the brand, it was the first choice that I had, and I'm telling you all, Vanessa did not come to play. She's brought us another 6-pan palette for the brand, and although I'm not the biggest fan of oranges, she brought me some colors I can live with. Get into this palette, honey. We have vivid colors, we have neutrals, and we also have a matte to shimmer ratio where the mattes are winning. As someone with hooded eyes, I'm always looking for mattes to deepen up my crease, and I'm always looking for the darkest shade in the palette to make sure everything comes out nice and smoky. And with this palette, I have the ability to do both. Whether I want to go plain neutrals, we have our browns and our oranges. Whether I want to go over the top and be colorful, we have our nice berries. But with this palette, my absolute favorite thing about it was the fact that they gave us metallic shades of different finishes. We have our regular metallic, and we also have a duochrome. And with duochrome being my favorite shimmer formula, she already had one in the book for me. So if you would like to see swatches of this palette as well as how I achieved this look, just make sure you continue to watch. But before we get started on this tutorial, I would love if you hit that subscribe button. If you already have, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this tutorial. Baby, when I tell you, it is just something different about a juviasplace palette. I don't know exactly what it is. It's just that I absolutely have loved them since the very first palette that I've purchased from them. And with today being my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, there was no other brand I could bring out than juviasplace. If you don't remember, my very first tutorial here on YouTube was using a juviasplace palette, and I'll make sure I'll leave that video linked right here above. And so today I had to use their newest collection. I ordered it the day that it launched, but unfortunately things did come a little slow due to the high traffic of the holiday. Valentine's Day was yesterday, so a lot of things were coming into the city, so my package was pushed back, but I do have it now, and I'm glad that it honestly did come a little later because I probably would have used it by now. But now we can go ahead and celebrate with juviasplace for our 1-year anniversary. Although the very first collab that I ever purchased with them was from Fumi, and I was happy to have it that way because Fumi was the influencer that helped put me onto the brand. After that, I kept telling myself, Torrence, who could possibly be second? And there was no doubt in my mind. I thought she would get the second collab, but she didn't, and you know what? We're not even mad because good things take time. But today we're going to be playing with the Vanessa and juviasplace collection. I'm telling you, if you've never seen any of her pictures or any of her artwork, you have to check out her Instagram. She's a beautiful and talented artist, so I knew once they announced her collab, there was no way I was going to skip over it. juviasplace is already the favorite brand from my subscribers. Anytime I post something from them, you all absolutely love them. So I wanted to make sure from now on, I absolutely grab any and every palette they ever release to make sure I can keep up on things for you all. And today is no different. And besides coming out with just an eyeshadow palette, they've also come out with 2 glosses. So I'm going to make sure before we get into things, I give you a close-up of the palette as well as the glosses. And I'm also going to give you swatches. So first, this is the box here for the Vanessa palette. This is a 6-pan palette like most of their collabs. And the palette looks just like the box, so we can expect the same artwork. You don't have to worry about things being much different. And here are the colors on the inside. We have a warm neutral palette, but it does have the option to get nice and colorful. To me, you know already what I'm looking at, that nice marble shade up in the top and the middle. With those type of shades, I'm either always truly in love or I absolutely hate it. So I'm hoping with juviasplace they don't disappoint me as usual and make that shade absolutely beautiful, because I'm looking at it like, you gonna call yourself perfectionist, honey? You got to make sure you're beautiful. And I wanna make sure I give you a close-up of the front of the palette as well as the colors inside. This is what the palette looks like. Absolutely beautiful, I'm telling you. If I were to ever get me a juviasplace collab, the first thing I'm going for is the artwork before I even hit the inside. And this is what the 6 shades on the inside look like. We have 4 mattes and it looks like 2 metallics. I'm telling you, that shade in the middle on the top already has my eye, so I cannot wait to dig in and get swatches. This collection also features 2 glosses. They contain the same artwork as the palette. The only difference between the packages It's one gloss here on the left hand side. It's called Legit Nude. It has the same color on the side of the box. This color here, which is called Naomi, has a more peachy pink color on the side. But other than that, they have the exact same packaging. Legit Nude looks more like a pinky brown color here. I still have the plastic on it, so I'm going to have to take that out and open it to give you all a close-up of it. And Naomi looks more like a pinky mauve color. So we're going to make sure we give you close-up views of both colors, and then I'm going to take them out of the package to give you all swatches. This is a close-up of the gloss inside the packaging. This is Legit Nude. This one here is a light pinky brown nude color. So I think more than likely this is the color I'm going to wear on an everyday basis. And this is what it looks like outside of the packaging. And this one here is Naomi. This one here is much more of a pinky mauve color. I think this is a beautiful color, but it's a little more shocking than what I would wear on an everyday basis. So more than likely, I would keep my eye rather neutral with this lip color or not wear any eyeshadow at all. And this is what Naomi looks like outside of the packaging. Next up, it's time for swatches. And normally, this is an easy and quick process, but today I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. So this is going to take a little while longer in real life, but luckily y'all won't have to wait for it. So I'll be right back with a close-up view for swatches of the eyeshadow palette as well as both glosses. Now get into these colors, honey, and tell me this palette is not absolutely beautiful. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought that second shade, Perfectionist, would be my favorite just looking at the colors in the pan. But now that we've got swatches going, that first shade, she didn't get to me. I did not realize that she was a dual chrome, and so I'm waiting to jump on that. But we have all 6 shades swatched left to right. Starting on the top row of the palette, we have shade number 1, Extra, shade number 2, Perfectionist, shade number 3, BSG, shade number 4 is Busy, shade number 5 is Stush, and shade number 6 is Aqua. The last 2 swatches are the glosses. The first one on the left hand side is Legit Nude. The second one is Naomi. And now that we've seen swatches of everything, I want to go ahead and get started on this tutorial. As with any and all tutorials, any and all products that I'm using on the face or throughout the video will be linked in the description bar below. So make sure you check that out if you have any questions on anything that I use but forget to mention. But I want to go ahead and jump into this palette because I'm telling you, honey, these colors are absolutely beautiful. And because this is a first impressions, I have absolutely no idea what to expect. And anytime I'm posting a first impressions, I usually have not watched anyone else's video. So that way I'm not influenced by anybody else's opinion. But I know for sure I want to try all 6 shades today simply because I'm excited. But we're not sure exactly how we're going to pull it off, because I know I'm going to use these 2 as my transition shades. I'm just not sure which one I want to put in front. So, simply because it is lighter, what we're going to go ahead and do is use this shade here, Baby. I'm going to put this one on the inner half of my lid as a transition. And then I'm going to take this shade here, Stush, on the outer half of the lid as a transition. And I'm going to use the same brush because I don't feel like using 2 separate brushes. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into things. Alright, and first up, I have me a large fluffy blending brush, and we're going to take this first shade here, Busy, in the front half of the eye, and I must tell you, she is extremely pigmented and she's going on easily, and I'm glad because when I first went into that pan, baby, she seemed a little dustier than I was expecting. But you know what? She blended faster and easier than I'm expecting too, so you know what? We're going to deal with a little kickback. We're just going to pick up that kickback there, and then we're going to get a little bit more. Trying to gauge and see how much more I want to get. Gonna see if she can get to full opacity, because if she got to go up against that orange, honey, she don't want to be ignored. She wants y'all to know she there even if she ain't a vibrant color. And we're going to blend that up as high as possible. Because baby, I didn't fill in these brows this big and this deep today for nothing. We want to be seen. And I like that. That's enough. Normally I would bring it back a little bit more, but we want that outside color to be big and bold today. So I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. I'm going to do this on the other eye, and then I'll show you what our next step is going to be. And that is what I am talking about, honey. a nice soft but pigmented color. I can see it there. It's light enough to let me put any other color into the crease, but we have an outer transition color to put on, so let's go ahead and get into it. This shade here, Stush, was powdery as well, but not nearly as much as Busy. And what I want to do is take this, press this into the outer V, as well as out here as our outer transition shade. And we're going to blend that up and out. But I wanted to get that down there as well, just to make sure when we go into our crease colors, it has something to blend up into. And because I'm not the world's largest fan of oranges, I'm really trying to get as much of it as low as possible and then just diffuse it up. I don't hate them the way I used to, but they still ain't my color of choice. But she's building and blending beautifully. I want to make sure I try to keep this color as light and as faded as possible, because orange is a color that can take over. And we just want this shade to remember that she is a transition color. Because trust me, just looking at how pigmented she is, I can tell this color can come and bring the drama. And you want to make sure you connect those two transition colors. You do not want that gap in between there. And simply because this is the darker color, we want this to really take over that outer half. So if they have to overlap, I'd rather have that orange shade win the battle. And you see we are feathering this up and out as high as possible. Just like that, honey. Right now she may look a mess just because she faded all the way out here, but we're going to be able to clean that up. So right now I'm going to jump to the other side and I'll be right back once we finish. Honey, right now I am just enjoying this look by itself. It is just a soft, sparkly watercolor look going on. I promise you, I'm just getting David Bowie vibes right now. But we can't call this the ending. We got to keep going because this is only 2 out of the 6 shades. So let's go ahead and grab 2 more. To help finish things off with our matte shades, we need to go in and deepen up our crease. So for the inner half, we're going to use this dark brown shade, BSG. And for the outer half, we're going to go into this deep berry shade, Aqua. Alright, with this Aqua being a very deep brown, I want to start this color off very low into the crease. We're going to bring this to that halfway point again. And I just want to keep that brush right there, nice and low, until I feel as if my color has been deposited. And then I'm going to slowly start to raise my brush to diffuse those edges. And we're going to take this as high into the crease as this brush will allow us to go, using the edges of it to diffuse that pigment. And we want to take our time with this so we don't get any patchy areas. We don't want any skipping, any smudging. And now that I feel as if I got all the color that I'm going to get from that first layer, we're going to now go in with our second layer. We just wanted to make sure we have a beautiful blend before we go in and do anything else, because the one thing you don't want to do is try to blend over a patchy area. And we're going to take this, go back in the deepest and lowest part of the crease. Make sure we deposit that color first. Then slowly start to raise the edges of the brush. And having that nice transition shade helps make the blending that much easier and that much more seamless. So that way that just looks like one dark brown that was just faded out instead of 2 colors that came together as one. Oh yeah, baby. Now I can see that I got a deep part of the crease. Come on through, honey. I want to make sure I don't skip that one low little itty bitty part right there. We're going to just press it in right there. Alright, I'll be right back and we're going to do this on the other side. That's what I'm talking about, honey. Deepening up the crease, giving my color a little more vibrancy, honey. I love crease colors simply because I have hooded eyes, honey. If you don't give me a color deep enough for the crease, honey, it's going to be a hard time for that palette to become a favorite of mine. But so far, we got things going good. Let's just go ahead, jump in, do our outer V, and see how we're going to finish things off. And can we appreciate the fact that although Aqua felt like the driest shade in the palette, it is also the shade that had the least amount of kickback. So honey, this is what I be telling y'all about. Like, you can't always just go off what the swatches is like or how it performs when you just grabbing it. It's all about how things go in the eye. And this color is so pigmented, honey. Like, I am having to take my time and make sure I take careful steps. I don't want this to completely cover that transition shade that I set down. But this shade here is saying, sis, you knew what you was asking for when you came bothering me. Look at how beautiful that color is. I'm not the biggest fan of oranges or mauve berry colors, but together, honey, I must admit they are a beautiful pair. I don't even think I need to go in with a second layer, but you know what? Just because we always extra and we just want to see how much more drama we can get out of this, honey, you know we gonna do it. You know I'm gonna do it. We're just gonna place that right there low into the crease, hon. I just want to see how deep and how dark you want to go. And it's building. Things have definitely gotten dark in the crease. I'm loving that. Oh yeah, honey. This outer half of the eye may not be the colors that I wanted or colors that I thought I didn't like, but it looked like she's showing out. Look at how vibrant that is on camera for y'all, so you already know how much I'm loving it in person. Let's hurry up and get this done on the other side, because baby, I cannot wait to get lid shades on. Make sure we start down here this time, because baby, we don't want that color to jump up and take over as fast as it did the last time. I'm telling you, honey, things are looking absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to see exactly how we're going to finish this look off. So what I want to do now is grab my glitter adhesive, because it's time to cut that crease, and you know we cutting it real high today. Girl, my fat butt is out of breath because I had to run downstairs and get my brush. I left my Morphe M421 brush downstairs. We're going to use this with the NYX Glitter Primer. Is it glitter primer or glitter adhesive? Yeah, it's glitter primer, but basically it's a glitter adhesive. And we're just gonna go ahead, put that all the way on the lid. I like to start near the lashes because that's where I always forget. And then we just follow the shape of our eye socket. I like to go in as deep as my socket gets, and then once I have that area mapped out, I like to grab a little bit more and take it a little bit higher. I want this to be a dramatic one, so I'm going to bring my brush a whole brush head width in front of the eyelid, and then we'll just connect up and around where we already traced and see how high do we have to go to connect those. But I want an extremely high cut crease today, honey. There's nothing soft and subtle about today's look. I'm talking over the rainbow and over the moon, and bring it all the way out. I just covered all that color we just put down, but you know what? We can add a little bit more. It ain't that much to do. I'm bringing it all the way up to the outer edge, all the way. That's probably doing too much, but you know what? It ain't never enough. Let's go ahead and do that on the other side, and I'll see you in a minute. And I'm telling you, honey, it should be against the law to cut a crease this high and this far back, but who cares? We're gonna go ahead and jump straight into things. But before we jump on the eyelids, I wanna go back into this shade Aqua and deepen up our outer V, because I cut right across all that blending we spent our time doing. And we're just going to use the same blending brush. We're going to just pick up a bunch of product on the side of it and just press it down Take your time. You don't want to pick up too much product because we're not going to be dipping back in too many more times. We just want to get a full good amount right there, because it's a good chance I may come back and deepen that up even further with that dark brown. We want to make sure we got enough sticking out of this first color so that if we do go back out and deepen things up, that purple isn't hidden. Bam! So let's go ahead, pick up a little more product and hit up this side, and I'll be right back once we finish. Yes, ma'am. Let's go ahead and get it popping. Now it is time to go in and do our lid shades, honey. And I cannot wait to put these on. They look so nice and so shimmery. And because dual chromes are my favorites, I have to put that one on first. So we're going to start things off with this shade here, Extra, on the inner half of our lids. And then we're going to take this shade here, Perfectionist, on the outer half of the lid. And ain't no point in lying, honey. I am not going in all for the soft and for the subtle, honey. I got my brush packed and chunked full of color. So we're going to take this and we're going to press that on, starting in the inner half where we cut our crease early, and just pressing that in place all the way up to the edges of where we put that brown. And then we're just going to bring it straight down. I want to pack this into place first, and then we'll go back and smudge over it to make sure the color is locked in. And because this is a dual chrome, you know I'm going to go in with a second layer to see if she builds. Now that I have that color down, I want to go in and just do my swiping motions. This will ensure if for any reason I skipped a spot, she'll be covered. And I'm liking that, baby. Look at her. Looking like a nice rose gold, and it shifts between, it looks like yellow gold and rose gold, honey. I am loving it. But you know I got to go in with a little bit more and see if she builds. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it. I got a little more fullness, a little more opacity. Okay. I am getting some fallout, but I do have my brush overloaded, so that's my fault. But we wanted to make sure we saw just how bright this thing can get. Honey, don't come into my life for my anniversary video if you ain't gonna stunt and show out. Oh yeah. I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. And now it's time for Perfectionist, and I'm telling you, when I first looked at them and it was marbled, it was the shade I was most excited for. But truth be told, I got that dual chrome on, so I think that's going to be my favorite. But we still want to see exactly how beautiful this shade going to be. So let's go in together. Okay. She's definitely a little more, I would say, oh, excuse me. It has a little more fallout, in my opinion, than the first shade, but it seems like it's a little more cool toned, probably because it has that mauvey berry tone to it. And she's just as shiny on the first layer as that other one probably was on the second layer. But because it doesn't have that dual chrome flip to it, to me, it's just not quite as pretty. But she holding her own. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do this on the other side. Alright, now that we like what we have going on so far, I do want to go back in with my crease brush that I used that shade Ochre with. It was the first shade we put our outer V color on, and I just want to diffuse the edges of this and make a little more smokier and a little more diffuse so it doesn't look like a harsh edge. This side here looks like it has a little more going on. It doesn't look like it'll take as much color as this side did, because this side, baby, had just a harsh, strong line going on. And I'm just trying to bring it out a little further just so I can see this berry color a little stronger. Because now I want to go back in with a slightly smaller brush, and I want to go back into that deep brown shade BSG, and I want to deepen this up just a tiny bit just to see if this brown actually has the ability to do so. I could have waited until a second look, but I figured why go ahead and do that. And actually, what was the point of tapping that off? I want my brush to be loaded. Tap it off just the tiniest bit. Just press it down and sweep it back to see if that's going to deepen things up. And yep, it did. Haha. Yes, ma'am. We got it even deeper without using the black. And we just sweep it back. That's what I'm talking about. I love a very deep outer V color, honey. And just because I was hoping that outer color gave me a little bit more, I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera, because in person you can see the flip of that first shade and you can tell that the outer V has a different color there, but I'm not sure if it's translating as well on camera. Please leave me a comment down below if you can tell that I'm wearing two different shimmery shades on my lids. And I was about to go back in and deepen up my outer V, but then I thought about it. It's gonna take away from how high cut my crease is, so we're gonna skip that. What I wanna do now is leave everything alone because I'm absolutely loving how we have things so far. And I'm gonna cut away, finish off the face, and I'll be back to show you how we'll finish off the eyes and the lips. Back in the flash, honey, and things are looking fabulous. And for today's look, I wanted to pull out a few old favorites plus a few new things that I'm testing out. So I want to show you all the things that I used off camera. First of all, for the new to me, it's old to the community. This is the Essence Lash Princess. This is the volume mascara in the peachy orangey color. I've been using the green one for quite some time and absolutely love it. But I wanted to see what other mascaras Essence offer. And truth be told, I know that green one is their #1 seller. I think that one even had like 6 times the number of reviews as this one. But I think I really like this one a little bit more. In my opinion, this weird little brush head here, I think they said it was shaped like a cobra or a snake head. It probably makes it a little more difficult for the average user to use, but because I'm someone who likes to get every single hair and I twist my wrist, I'm going in this way, I'm going straight up, I'm gonna come back this way and try to get in there. This wand fits into all the nooks and crevices. And I think because of the brush head exclusively, I like this one a little bit more. And so I think when both of them run out, if for any reason I go to repurchase an Essence mascara, I see me purchasing this one over the green tube now, and I'm shocked because the green one seems to get all the hype. Also new to me, I'm not sure if I wore this one before, but I know I wanted to make sure that I tried it again. I absolutely love the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencils. They're my favorite formula, and the purple one that I wear the absolute most is Psychedelic Sister. It's a very deep purple shade, and it goes with any and all purple eyeshadow looks. But with today, I did not want to go in with that one because I felt as if it was so dark and so purple, it would take over the look. But I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what this one looks like. To me, I call this my subtle purple one because I can look at it and tell it's purple, but it's not so vibrant and it's not so matte that it shouts and screams at you. It's just nice, it's subtle, and you have to get up close to notice it's purple, and it's not competing with any of the colors on top of the lids. So more than likely, if I were to ever do this look again, I would just go in with my brown Demolition one. But because I wanted to see what this purple one looks like, I'm gonna go ahead and keep her because she's beautiful to me. On the lips, I'm wearing my juviasplace Luxe Liner in the shade Cola. I believe this is the darkest one that they carry. Simply because this eye look is so dramatic and over the top, I went in with this one. Otherwise, I would have gone in with my regular brown one. I believe that one's called So Rare. But I wanted to make sure I have something with a nice strong ombre. It shows off the shape and the size of my lips. So we got this Cola one here. Also for blush, my favorite blush from Juviasplace, honey. They better never discontinue this bad boy. This is one of the 2 singles that they have. This one here is in the shade Serafina. And to me, this is what NARS Orgasm should have been. I know that's the world's favorite peachy pink color, but to me, that one is just not quite as pigmented as I need it to be. This Serafina one is. They also have another one called Bella, but that's a much more deeper red tone. It's much better for people with a deeper skin complexion. But this one here, I love it. I can layer it, I can build it, and I'm not worried about it ever being patchy. I'm not worried about it being muddy or ever too much. It just always comes off nice and beautiful, and it gives a glow to my skin. So I'm never gonna be without this blush here. And for a highlighter, I decided to throw it back. I know this was my very favorite highlighter. I still think throughout my entire makeup career, this is probably the most used highlighter I've used. And for a few months, I stopped using it just simply because I felt as if I wasn't giving anything else a chance. But today I decided I had to bring back an old favorite. This is the MAC Old Darling. And I'm telling you, honey, the day that this became permanent was one of the happiest days of my life because I could only get it in limited edition packaging. And now that it's here, I've gone through so many of these because even before it ever hits hard pan, I'll grind it up and turn it into a single shadow. I'll mix it into setting sprays to turn it into a luminous one. I'll take it with a big brush and just dust it all over my body in the summertime if I know for sure I'm going swimming or going to take a shower right after that. I absolutely love these. And so I wanted to pull it back out because as you can see, honey, she gives a nice, beautiful glow to the skin. Most days I would have went back in and put an extra little strong stripe right there just to make sure my cheekbones is popping. But because the eye look is so strong, we decided we're going to bring the glow, but we're going to let everything sit back and be subtle. So I didn't go in with as much as I normally would, but I had to pull out this old favorite here because I'm never ever going to be without it. Now that I've told you about the things we've used off camera, we want to go in and finish off our lower lash line. And the first step to doing that is taking this shade here, Ochre, on a push liner brush and placing that color as close to the lower lash line as we can possibly get it. And I want to take my tiniest brush and we want to get a very pigmented line. We don't want the line to be very dark, well not dark, we don't want it to be very thick because this color is pigmented. So I'm using my Wayne Goss brush just because when I first got it, I truly didn't think there would be any need for it. I didn't understand why somebody would need a brush this small, but it ain't until you use it for the first time that you realize just how versatile he is. Bam. We're gonna go over, make sure any area that does not look as pigmented as the next is saturated, and we're gonna use that to connect it up to this edge here. I want to put a tiny bit more right there. Alright, and before we diffuse that out, I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. Alright, I can see that berry shade starting to come through, honey, but I'm telling you, we can't just leave it right there like that. So what we're going to do now is take this pencil brush and we're going to buff that out with another shade. And to buff out Ochre, we're going to use this shade here, Stush, on a pencil brush. And we want to use that just to soften up the color that we put down first. I took and coated my pencil brush and knocked off as much product as possible. And I want to try to get up there and just diffuse the edges of this as nicely as possible. We want to remember that we want to pick up just enough color on the brush so that we can see that orange come through. But we want to use it just long enough to diffuse that berry shade. I want to go in and just get a tiny bit more and start from the inner half. I like to start right below where the color is that I'm going to diffuse and then bring the brush closer to it just to make sure that that transition shade sticks out as well. And that purple liner is giving me life with this color. Oh my goodness, yes. Look at that. Now it's nice and soft and smoky. It's not harsh like it is on this side. So we're going to go in, diffuse this side, and I'll be right back. Baby, and that soft blend has me feeling myself. And I almost thought we was finished with the eyes, and I was sitting back like, honey, it ain't nothing else we can add to it. And I remembered, we still never did our inner corner, our brow bone highlight. So let's go ahead and get to it. Just because we went in light with the highlight on the face, we want to go in and go extra ham on the eyes. So we're going to put a strong beam of light for our inner corner highlight and then make a nice subtle one for the brow bone. And we're going to use the same highlighter for both spots. And first we're going to start on the inner corner because we have the most product on the brush right now, and that's where we'll be able to layer it. And I want this beam to be strong, sis. Bam, look at that. You can see what that's doing on camera. Let's go ahead and get this on the other side. Honey, we don't want you to think we'd have forgot about you. Bam. Look at how that is popping, sis. Like, oh. You know what? I think I might want to add just a little bit more on this side. And now that we have most of the product off of our brush, we're going to go in very lightly and brush right underneath the arch of the brow and bring it back and down a little bit. Just so it looks nice and shimmery right underneath the brow, but it breaks down from satin to matte in the crease. I know most people like a matte brow bone highlight, but as someone who has oily skin, I'm used to seeing a glow all over the place, so I really like to see one right underneath my brow. Bam! Boop! Bop! Go ahead. And for the glosses, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really wanted to go in with Legit Nude simply because I am much more comfortable with brown shades. But because this eye look is so much more pink based, and because I'm really trying to step out of my comfort zone, I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Naomi simply because on an everyday basis, it's a pretty good chance I may never reach for it. So we're gonna give her the time of her life right now on camera. And I've already lined my lips, so we don't have to worry about that part. I'm gonna just take this. I like to start from the center of the lips and let it blend out. Oh. Honey, that's cute. And I'm telling you, the smell is even better than what it looks like. Add a little bit more. And I think because I have such a dark liner, this is helping this come off as a nude. Oh, baby, Naomi is gorgeous. Look at that. Oh my. Honey, I thought I was not gonna like this color, but she is absolutely beautiful. She got me looking like I got lip fillers. Y'all seeing that? Look at that. I think Legit Nude may not get worn as much now, cause baby. See, this is why you gotta play with the stuff you already own and don't just make assumptions on things. Because I'm telling you, honey, had I have gone in with that Legit Nude and liked it, this color would have probably never been used, but this is absolutely beautiful. She not as dark and as pigmented as I thought she would be because I just knew this color was going to be opaque and cover everything. But because it lets your natural lip color shine through, she's coming off as a nice pinky mauve that I can actually see and get down with. It just didn't take over the color of my lips and make things look like a bruise. It's crazy how this was supposed to be about the eyes, and honey, now it's all about the lips. But y'all gonna have to excuse me because the lips are my favorite part of the body. So I'm enjoying this, so trust and believe. The lip combo, Cola and Naomi, sis, y'all gotta get these. I know Cola is permanent, but if Naomi ever comes back in stock, honey, make sure y'all get y'all a tube of this. And there's no way I can forget this part because anytime I ever try, you all remind me. It's funny how this started off as just something I did in the comfort of my own home, but now you all love doing it with me. So make sure you get your sprays together because baby, it's time to finish things off. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All-nighter so things last all day. Cheap Fan, Expensive Breeze, Good Times. Gonna give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all the full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And tell me, honey, this is not beautiful. I made sure I went in and I kept the face nice and warm, but I wanted to keep things rather soft because I wanted the focus to be on the eyes, but I'm telling you, for me, it's the lips. I did not expect this gloss to be this beautiful. With eyeshadows, juviasplace usually never gives me any issues. I think the only one palette that I had a problem with was the Taupes palette, but considering how light those colors were, I wasn't expecting a deep, dark, dramatic look. It was nice and soft for a subtle look, but I always wish that palette had one more deeper shade in it. With this palette, honey, that is far from the case. Whether I want something nice, soft, and subtle, or I want something nice and deep, this palette can give it to me. And I'm telling you, as far as the shimmers go, that one color on the inner corner, which is a dual chrome, I am absolutely loving. This color on the outside, she's pretty, but I just really wish the color difference was as vivid on camera as it is in person. So for me personally, this shade here, Perfectionist, I would have just made that much, much deeper and darker, as closer to this shade Ochre as I possibly could. But this shade here, Extra, she's absolutely stunning. She's my favorite shade in the palette. I think as far as mattes, this Ochre shade is my favorite, simply because it felt as if it was going to be the driest, but it turned out to be the most pigmented. It had the least amount of kickback when we were done. But I'm telling you, Vanessa, congratulations. The colors are beautiful. They absolutely blend like a dream. And for someone who just does not like orange shades, this shade here, Stush, is absolutely beautiful. You can go in with it very soft and get a nice blown out look, but if you want it deep, dark, and pigmented, it can go that way because I had it in the crease, but I always made sure I blended it up. But this palette is beautiful. As I said, the absolute only thing I would change is making this shade a little bit darker. With the juviasplace glosses, honey, there's never a problem with them. I've never had any issues with any of the colors I have. And with most companies and most formulas, I generally prefer a glitter formula a little bit more than the cream ones. But juviasplace just seems to be the exception. And every time they come out with a cream formula, I just really like those a lot more than their shimmers. So from now on, I think these are going to be the ones I'm going to collect. Although I'm looking over there right now, I think I started off with more shimmers. I have more creams than I do now. And we're going to keep it that way because they're absolutely beautiful. Later on this week, I'm going to try this shade here, Legit Nude, just to see what it's like. But this shade here, Naomi, she done came through and she is so pretty. And she just looked like such a wet, glossy, juicy looking lip that I know I keep telling everybody you don't need backups. There's no point in doing that. But I'm the type of person who can go through a whole gloss. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on hold. And I'm going to just watch how I use it, because if for any reason I use this more than 3 times in the next month, I'm buying a backup of this because this shade is absolutely beautiful. And if I don't buy a backup, I'm surely going to go through my collection and see what's close to this, because this is one of the prettiest glosses that Juvia's has ever put out. I keep looking over there at my collection, and truth be told, I think this might be my new favorite from the brand. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you leave a comment down below if you were someone who was able to grab this collection. Right now, it does appear that this collection and the past 3 collections that Juvia's has done has been sold out. But I don't want to put this out there because I have not contacted the brand to find out. But from my experience, Juvia's has never done a single palette release where they just put it out there and never restocked it. Usually there is some time in between restocks where you do have to wait. But every single palette that I've ever seen the brand put out has been restocked. So if you were someone who was not able to get any of these collections, whether that be the Vanessa collection, the Melissa one, the Fumi one, or the La Mariposa collection, I'm telling you, I will keep a close eye on the website. Even if you see those on the website, I recommend signing up for the restock notification email just in case it comes back and you're not checking up on it. You can make sure you get that palette, because so far, every single palette that they've put out as far as collabs have gone has been absolutely amazing. Every single palette that I've gotten from them has been amazing. But that taupes one, I wish was a little bit darker. And I think, which other one was it? It was the Violets palette. That Violets palette I always wish was a little bit darker too. When I hear Violets, I think of vivid purple shades, but that one was absolutely no comparison to that Nubian one. If you want a fabulous purple palette from juviasplace, I truly recommend the Nubian one. And I believe that one is even on sale on their website right now for $7.50. So if you would like to see my tutorial on the Nubian palette, I can make sure I leave that link right here above. But I am telling you all, I cannot wait for you all to see this eyeshadow look. It's been 1 year on YouTube and you all have made this absolutely amazing. The thought that I started this channel using one of the most affordable brands in my collection, and I wasn't sure how other people would take it, but you all absolutely love it. And as someone who loves luxury and high-end brands, the idea of knowing that my subscribers absolutely love a drugstore affordable brand means it's something I can always keep track of. So I promise you all, with any and every juviasplace launch, I'm going to do my very best to try to keep every palette in stock. So far I haven't missed one, and with the help of you all, I don't think I'm going to miss one. But I really want to say I love you and I thank you for the love, support, and positivity you've shown my channel over the past year. My very next video, which should be posted on Wednesday, should be talking about the past year, my expectations and goals that I had for my channel and what has happened so far, as well as the things that I set out to do but didn't get the chance to, whether it be for health reasons, whether that be because I overestimated my abilities, or things that were out of my control like my computer crashing. But I'm going to sit down and I'm going to try to get that video completely unedited. Anytime you see any of my other tutorials, it's nice to know that if for any reason I slur my words or say something wrong, I can cut that out and just put another clip in there where things look nice and smooth. But for that video, I just want things to be raw, uncut, unedited, and just speaking to you all. So I'm still a little nervous about it, I'm not gonna lie, but we're really gonna try to get that done for you just so you all can see my open thoughts. Just no filter, just me and you. But because my camera does only allow me to record for half an hour, if for any reason I find that video going longer than that, you may see that one jump cut in between those two. But I seriously doubt that video will go over an hour, so there should only be that one. But right now, I don't have anything else to do but to head over to my sister's because I really want to make sure I drop off a few things for her. And my mother left something over there for me to pick up, and I want to make sure I get it before she do. So once again, I would like to say thank you and I love you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you already have, I would like to say thank you. Make sure you hit that notification button. Also, do not forget that I have a current giveaway going on. You can check out that video right here. I still haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do to pick a winner, but I'll make sure I include that in my very next video. But with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.